Greetings, peace, everybody. Welcome to Community Radio. I'm your host, Kim, and I think I got the mic on today. I know yesterday I had it muted a few times. But welcome to Community Radio. And today is Wednesday, I believe. Yesterday we had a pretty good show. We talked about rituals and what's missing from our rituals and how to make them more effective. So today we'll start off with another topic. As usual, if you have a question or comment, you can call in. Just press the number 1, and I'll bring you in. The number is 515-605-9862. And, of course, I prepared something to talk about today, so we'll get into that a little bit later. But just as a reminder to everybody, if you'd like to sign up for classes, you can go to seduluhouse.com. And the new spiritual training phase 1 is there. The classes that I facilitate are there. There are rituals, everything. You can also download the app from the Google Play Store. It is listed under Anu Nation, and you can do the same things from the app, as well as, check out music, chat with other subscribers, and so forth. We still have the Anu Phase 1 challenge going on, and we are in the second strong of it. So the next module will actually start on next strong, on Sunday. Yeah. We give you about a couple of weeks to try to finish up each module. And this is just to kind of help you along, to help you complete it, and, to move along with the group is always good because you get to talk to other people about what's going on and some experiences and things that you're having. So if you'd like to participate in that challenge, we are uploading information, tips, videos, and things like that on the Sedulu House site. And if you go there and just type in Phase 1 Challenge, it'll take you directly to the page where you can see the videos. All right. So again, that's just to kind of help move you along in the class, so that if you'd like to participate in anything that Anu Nation is doing, you have to have at least completed Phase 1. All right. So today I had a few things I wanted to talk about, actually. Last night, Barack Obama gave his farewell address. I don't know if any of you all tuned into that. I caught a little bit of it. But as I was watching, it just kind of reminded me of just how, I don't know, I guess disconnected I am from this whole thing. And then, I thought about it, as he was speaking, I said, wow, he's been in office for 8 years. And it just made me think about how fast time has flown by. I still remember, when he got elected, it just doesn't seem like it's been 8 years. Gosh, I just try to think about, what are some of the things that have happened in 8 years? That's a long time. But, he gave his exit speech. And I guess when I say exit speech, it makes me think about, having a regular job. And I was like, gosh, it must kind of suck to have to do like a public exit interview. You know what I mean? Like when you have at work, if you have a job and you decide to leave or whatever, they always make you do these exit interviews. And it's like, even as I was listening, and I'm just like, who really wants to do that? Like, I don't know. But I guess, when you're president, you almost, as to be courteous, I guess you have to. But it's like, what do you say? Especially if you want to stay. What if you want to stay for another term and you can't, you're reluctant to leave the office. And he kind of, I don't want to say it's a dig, but, in the speech, he also kind of prompted to some things like, some more goals that still needed to be reached and things like that. And he kind of put it on Trump to do it. And so, it's like kind of holding Trump responsible for some things like, you all don't drop out, still kind of hold him responsible. I don't know. I just think it kind of sucks to like have to do an exit interview or a farewell speech. Like, I guess it wouldn't if you really, if you feel like you've done everything you could do, you go in knowing that you can only serve 2 terms anyway. So, I don't know. I'm just like, it kind of sucks. But it made me think about Trump, too, because, they were not the best of friends, to say the least. Definitely Barack Obama did not endorse him. But just thinking about Trump, because leading up to Obama leaving office, he's been like the butt of a lot of jokes on talk shows, TV shows, and everything. And it makes me think, okay, now once Obama steps down and Trump is officially now president, will he make like appearances and stuff on TV shows? Because, Obama did, and previous presidents have done it too, where they'll show up and, kind of joke about themselves and everything. But it's like, what do you say? Will he be on any of these talk shows? Because it's like everybody has kind of dogged him like really, really bad. So it's like, what are you going to say? It'd be interesting to see how they're going to twist it or spin it, once he does officially, take office. And I don't know, say he has to appear on one of these talk shows that, the host has kind of been dogging him the entire time throughout the, the race. And even now, like, he's getting ringed. You have a lot of people that don't really accept him as the president now. Let me take a call real quick. 813.
Greetings. I got my mouth full of avocado and bread. Sorry. But greetings. Yeah, the only thing I wanted to point out on it is that he walked out to Superstition. He walked out to Stevie Wonder's song, Very Superstitious.
Wow.
Writing on the wall. Well, and the funny thing is, the whole time I'm sitting here looking at him do his speech, he's reminding me of the Pharaoh. What's his name? I think there was a point where, like, in the beginning of his term, that he had I guess there was a time that he was able to see or have this Pharaoh. I forgot what the Pharaoh's name was. I think Tutankhamun. I might be saying it wrong, but
yeah, King Tut.
Yeah, it was just initially when I'm looking at him doing his speech and the way the cameras that they use really kind of gave me a visual thing of him, and coming out with that song is just kind of made everything connect with me for that. I wanted to put that out there. I agree with what
Why do you think they chose that song? Why do you think they chose that song?
I really don't know. And everything's ritual with them. So
yeah, I mean, everything is planned. Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been a ritual. It's just weird that if I go back, even when I was looking at it, I was thinking, that he's coming out with this song, and I'm seeing an image of a pharaoh in my eye. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm seeing the image of a pharaoh in my eye. It might have been because of my own research when he first got into office.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just looking at him. I'm paying attention. He's got some attention going on. So I don't know. I didn't
catch the song at the end. Yeah, but it makes you think, because I was doing some research on it, like, when did these farewell addresses start? And of course, with George Washington and everything. But also, they don't write their own speeches a lot of times. So just in you saying that, it's like somebody actually orchestrated this entire thing, like down to the smallest detail, like the colors he should wear, everything, a tie pin or whatever, everything is down to the letter, so what he's going to say, how he should deliver it, things he shouldn't say, everything. So I don't know. That's interesting that they played that song.
While you're saying that, I'm just thinking about what he was standing behind. He was standing behind the U.S. seal, the U.S. presidential seal. And the presidential seal, while he was sitting there talking, was like circling his head. Yeah, you know how...
I've seen that. Yeah.
You know how, like, in certain. It's the representation of the sun behind us when we're wearing our crown.
Like religious iconography. I've seen that a lot, especially with him, because when he came in, his whole message was about change, and people kind of painted him as a savior. So you did see those pictures. I think I saw one artist depiction of that where he, put the crown on his head to make him look like King Tut or whomever. And I think it's like
that was during the visit. That picture came from during that visit that he was visiting with that pharaoh, or with he was getting the information from that pharaoh. I remember that picture.
I've noticed that they do that a lot with him, and I think it is something much deeper than that. I think Chief said he might break that down one day, but it was like even his election, him winning the presidential election was like a Hail Mary, just for a certain group of people to say, hey, don't write us off yet. We got a black president, like a kind of like a little puppet to kind of put him up, because like in all the sci-fi movies, when you have these doomsday things or before aliens visit and all this other kind of stuff, you notice that the president is always black. He's always black. I've even seen one where it was a black female. So it's like right before something cataclysmic is about to happen, they always have a black president. And so I think that there's something to that. And then, like you said, just the entire time he's been in office, it's like he kind of has been painted as this kind of savior figure, even though, he got a lot of flack the entire time he was there, but he still, people still kind of portrayed him in that way. Right.
Mm-hmm. Want to get a mouthful of avocado. But yeah, the whole concept of him, honestly, well, I'll just give you my opinion, is that I think he was a distraction for us. And the only reason why he was able to do the things that he, like if they had a white man doing the things that he did in office, there would have been a whole bunch of other stuff going on within that. I think with him being in office, he was able to do a lot more negative things for the U.S. because under that color, under that shade, that he's a black president.
Right. It's easier for a lot of people to turn the other cheek because he's black,
Right.
Yeah. So, we'll make excuses.
It's the majority of us, they call us minorities, but we're really the majority. In the United States, you're talking about brown people everywhere, all across the world, but just how they describe us as minorities, we're actually the majority. So whenever we see something like that going on, we're supporting that. So.
Definitely. I don't know. Did he say anything? Because I caught like the beginning of it. I didn't watch. I just wasn't focused into the entire speech. Did he say anything? Did anything catch your ear? Like, what made you tune into it?
Well, I wanted to see it. Honestly, I didn't remember. I came up on my YouTube and it said like I seen his inauguration speech and the man is charismatic. He does things that we want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's not. It's funny how the change that we heard him initially speak on, and where he's at the end of his term, and he even ended his term with "Yes, we can." And if I don't know if anybody did that. If anybody listened to the breakdown that Dr. Phil Valentine did on that whole speech, and I would advise people to go check that out. But
what did he say?
Dr. Phil Valentine broke it down with that "Yes, we can" played backwards means "Hail Satan." So
means what?
It means "Hail Satan."
Hail what?
If you play that "Yes, we can" backwards, it says "Hail Satan." Hail Satan.
Oh, hail Satan.
It sounds like "Hail Satan."
Oh, okay.
It sounds like "Hail Satan." So he ended that whole conversation with that again. And just with those little antics that was going on, just some of the speeches that he got into, and the subliminal attack that he was having on certain individuals in America, with how he was more speaking on the hate speech, the hate that's been amongst us, and the separation that's been amongst us. And it was subliminal things that he was saying inside of his
amongst
speech.
Who?
Really, I think the way he was saying it, he was directing it towards, like, let's say, white fascists, homophobics, or whatever you call people that hate those, and just that we need to get away from. And even on that, he said healthy debate. One of the things that I remember that sticks out is that healthy debate is, and he kind of broke down what Chief said, is like, when you have a debate, either as soon as the debate's over, we have scientific and reason that came from the debate, and now we're shifting our thoughts because this is the concept that ended on the debate. And he even broke that down with like some of the speech and the talk. Is like, if we're having debates and conversations, we have to have a scientific or reasoned outcome of our debate and move forward with that. So so that was one thing that stuck out to me, because we were just talking about it. That's why.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I listened to some of it. I didn't get too into it, but I don't know. I just thought it was, some of the things that you brought up is interesting. I haven't checked out the Phil Valentine breakdown thing at all. But what did he say about the whole Satan thing? Because I remember Chief doing a show on that once where he was breaking out Lucifer, Satan, the devil, all these terms we give. And I think he was saying, like, Satan is the one that rules the physical world. So
right.
I don't know. It's like I have some mixed thoughts about that. It's like, so if Satan is the one that rules the physical world, like, is that necessarily like something demonic, or is it just the energy that rules the physical world?
In my perspective, and what I'm learning through Anu, is that that's an overlord concept. That's one of those that what Chief was just talking about this past Saturday, is that number one, it's a name, it's a word, it might hold some power, but at the end of the day, what it is our lower half. If it isn't our lower, our humanity, the fight between the humanity and our most high experiences, it's that portion of us, the corruption in the flesh. And it's funny because I just finished going through module 3 and going through that, is that, our experiences that we're here, corrupted in the flesh, the physical attributes that we hold is sin, period. So, and we're not going until we align ourselves with our souls, which is our higher self, then we can kind of move from where we're at. So I don't get stunned by that. I don't get stunned by terms like Satan, Baphomet, Lucifer. All I know is that's just part of me. That's part of me also. As much as God is part of me, as
because we're physical beings. Yeah.
Right. So it's just part of the concept. But I think the ritual behind that is that these people that are orchestrating it, they're trying to make sure they develop what they can physically here.
Yeah. Right. And I don't know, sometimes it just makes me think, like, is that a bad thing to do? Like, isn't it just an energy, like you said, just like any other energy? Maybe some people can take it to the extreme or whatever, but I don't know. Isn't it just because when you start to work with different, different systems, like you have, even in the Kabbalah tradition, you have, the Sephiroth, that we learn about. But then you have the backside of it, which is the clip off. I think I'm saying that right. And it talks about the dark energies as well. So it's like, or if you want to call it angels and demons, and Chief has broken down that whole thing with demons or whatever. But it's like they're still just energies, and they were both created by the Creator, so to speak. So if you want something like materialistically or whatever, or in this physical world, is it okay to work with Satan? Is it okay to work with that energy? Or is it just that we're so deeply programmed, as soon as we hear that word Satan, it's like we're just kind of like, oh, stay away from that. Is the programming that deep that we're terrified to work with it? Because what are these energies? What is it? They're the opposite of the Shemhamphorash. What are they? When you get into goetic, or I don't know how you pronounce it, Goetia, Geisha, goetic, whatever. When you get into those systems, or the Keys of Solomon and stuff like that, you hear about these dark entities, but they're that kind of open up these psychological chambers, within you. Like you said, this is not like an energy that's external, that doesn't exist within us. We are physical beings, and we are here. That's that Eshu energy. When we say Eshu Patami, it's like that stone or that rock that holds us down here in this physical existence or whatever. So I don't know. I'm just like, is our programming so deep that we are like super, super terrified just even at the mention of the word Satan, and we kind of steer away from it, or we look at people who even work with that energy as like evil, or just bad, the satanic church, because you've heard Chief talk about that before. It's something he's studied before. He studied the Satanic Bible, and it's like I'm starting to understand this is just an energy like any other energy.
Right. I think, and don't quote me on this. I'll just say what I'm getting out of that information, because there's a lot of stuff you said inside of that. There's a Yoruba pataki about Osobo in Ire, and just to break it down quick, is that Osobo was bad fortune, bad luck, however it broke down, and Ire was the higher, good fortune, and so forth, so on, and more. There's more depth inside of that. But Osobo, in the story, Osobo won rulership of the earth, and within that, what we're talking about, when we start talking about Satan and God, think about it in this term that the physical manifestation of everything, corruption, righteousness, all got created here on the earth. So all that is just one part of what we call Lucifer, the light bringer, bringing light to whatever energy that we might, as individuals, possess inside of the earth. Because once again, and this, it's funny that we're just going over it because it's giving me a review about what the module I just went through, is that the plan and the et. You know what I'm saying? There's a plan, there's a small plan for the higher purpose. So the small plan, the planet, has a purpose, and inside of that, we have a purpose inside of that planet. So, I think a lot of the Christian and religious folklore that made Satan and Satan to be who he was scares everybody. Every time you start speaking of it, it's just, oh my God, bring the X's, the crosses out, holy water.
Right.
He's the devil.
It's terrified of it. Like those names, Lucifer, Satan, you know.
They even tell you in Christianity that when we were born into sin.
Right.
How's that
I never understood that. That's something I never got. I was like, hey, you do anything. What are you talking about?
Well,
I was like,
if you translate it into what we're talking about, if you translate it into what we're talking about, yeah, okay, yeah, we were born into sin. We are sin. You feel me? But we're also righteous. We're also Most High. You just didn't give us that other portion of that conversation.
Yeah. I am an earthly being. That's right. Exactly. Yeah. I am a fleshly being that lives on earth. I don't know. I just think it's interesting because the more I study, I'm just like, it's just an energy, you know? Like, if that is the energy that holds the key to, you know, whatever type of physical prosperity or whatever that you want, or a particular thing, can you not just work with that energy and it's okay? You know, the same way we work with Oshun or, you know, any other energy that's supposed to bring prosperity or whatever. It's not like we're asked, because most of the people, like even just coming into spirituality, people a lot of times come in it because they want money. They want stuff. They want to get out of the miserable condition that they're in. They want stuff. It's not like they're asking for this stuff in the afterlife. No, they want it right now. I want this mansion or this whatever it is. Like, I want that stuff now. I want it in this life. And I don't think that's necessarily, I don't think that's a bad thing. Why is it bad to want physical wealth or physical prosperity? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So it's like, it's good, it's cool if we work with Oshun to get it, but if we work with Satan to get it, I don't know. You know, it's like it just stings a little bit. Just that word, you know, just puts us on edge.
Well, would I work with Satan? No. No,
Why?
I wouldn't work with Satan. Why? Because this doesn't relate to my indigenous and ethnic culture at this point. Me personally, I would go to SU first.
Okay.
If I needed to do that same stuff that Satan does, I would just go to SU. You know what I'm saying? So that would be me personally. So would it be something I would turn away if someone brought it to the table? Not really, but I just know, I feel like the words and the sounds and the tones that we might develop inside of the energies that we're using work better when it's connected to you in a better fashion for me, or more cultural fashion. Let me be clear, a more cultured fashion, something that I can relate to. So.
Well, you know, like in phase 1 and in phase 2, you're going to be working with energies from different paradigms too. You know, and it's like we don't seem to have a problem with it with other systems, and I really think it's just because the programming is not as deep. Like if I mention a so-called evil energy or an equal to Satan in another paradigm, and say this is the energy that rules the earth, you know, prosperity, blah 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 blah, I don't think many people will have a problem working with it, because we do it all the time. We work with, you know, different angles or angels and all these other energies in different systems. But it's like it's still something about just that word, like I said, Lucifer or Satan, that I think it's like a part of our programming that we just can't break through. Because, I mean, you're going to work with them. It's in phase 1. You're going to work with all different types of energies. We don't just stay within the Yoruba pantheon. So it's like,
Right.
is your programming is that just part of your programming that's going to take a little bit more to break through, or is it just you just like, nah, I'm just not messing with it?
No, well, that's I don't think I have any care if I work with whatever energy. Personally, I just think that the tone and the tonality of the energies that we're calling upon should be respected.
What do you
Respectfully.
mean? What do you mean tone?
Like let's just say, I guess it's a traditional and new age. You know, you got the Oshun, and then you got Ochun. You feel me? So, and then you got Mami Wata. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you got the names that were named by our ancestors, our indigenous ancestors, and I think those, even with a new age point of view, I think that should be held a little bit more in what's the word? More held a little bit higher, just to keep the tonality and the tone, because I think.
So you're talking about
music,
the frequency of the word.
Correct, frequency.
Sound,
I was just about to get into the keys on the keyboard, A through F, A through G. You know what I'm saying? So you're going through all the tonalities of the keyboard. You're going through all the tonalities of the drum. You're going through all the tonalities of the wind, the trees rustling, the birds squeaking, because all those tones were developed inside of our language, and our ancestors came up with it. And yeah, we're going to create more and create new tones as I guess our vibration and our frequency higher. But I just think there's a starting point.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let me throw this at you, because while you were talking, something came to mind. We were talking about tones. Now, that sound that you're talking about, the sound frequency of words, actually the word Satan, like if we start doing etymology and all this other kind of stuff, it also goes back to shaitan. So that S has a sh sound. Now, also, when we go through different pantheons, we'll find that a lot of the prosperity gods have the sh sound in the name, like Oshun. You even talked about Eshu. You have Lakshmi. And so I remember I did some research on that. And when I was into studying Buddhism and Hinduism, you have these mantras that you say. And I remember one particular word, like for prosperity and stuff, people like you use the word stream a lot. They have the sh sound in a lot of words when you say these prosperity or money mantras. And so I remember asking someone, like, what is the connection with the sh sound? And they were explaining, I think it was Chief. I think he was explaining to me, it's the sound of water, the sound that water makes. And as we know, water is related to money and currency and things flowing. So again, it's like, I don't know. I keep, when we think about, we're talking about frequency of the word, like even when you look at it that way, it's still not such a bad word.
Like Sister Kim, I'm with whatever. I'm not really scared to use these. I'm not scared to use these energies or these words. Let me clarify myself on that. I got to defend myself with you a little bit. But I'm not scared to use these words. I know, but you know, and if said, let's say if said ritual called upon it, I probably would. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I would personally stick with more of a traditional breakdowns of these energies first, and if I needed to move from there to expand, yes. There's never a time that I'll say no.
Okay. And I wasn't just talking to you. I'm talking to everybody on the line that may have something to say, but are kind of scared to jump in the conversation about it. I don't know. It's just something that I thought about, when we think about working with these different energies.
Even Baphomet. Baphomet to me is like one of the a very high symbol of humanity, of our melanin, of our carbon, of our physical existence. Okay, And Baphomet was looked upon as Satan was a figurehead of Satan.
Mm-hmm.
People use Baphomet right now. If you see a person walking down the street with a Baphomet shirt, the first thing that person would say is, "Oh, he's a Satan worshiper." You know what I'm saying? If they know about Baphomet. So, Baphomet, honestly, it just describes our humanity. That's it. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with Satan. And Lucifer is a little bit different to me because I think Lucifer just describes the light.
Right. The light bringer.
The light bringer.
Or we talk about knowledge and stuff like that. Yeah. When we think about light, what light does. Yeah.
Even going into the I am that I am. So, without the light bearer being there, or without Lucifer being there, the I am, what I am, would not exist also. And the only reason why I say that is that I am is you, in the dark, you don't know who you are until the light comes to expose it into your vision, to define you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not picking. I'm just kind of exploring and kind of going, just going with the flow of the conversation. And like I said, it's for everybody. It's not. Yeah, it's just something to think about. But even just speaking about Satan or evil or whatever, the guy, what's his name, Dylan Roof. His trial he's come to the point in the trial where the jury has decided that he should get the death penalty. This is the guy that killed the 9 people in the church, went into the black church and shot up like 9 people. And, I did just something really brief research on it, but he actually had like a list of several churches that he was going to like bomb or go in and shoot up. And so, I don't know. I was just thinking because it's still up to the judge whether or not he gets the death penalty, even though the jury decided that. But, even with death penalty cases, like they can be drawn out for years and years and years and years. And so, I don't know and he's a self-proclaimed supremacist. And for him, he was saying like he had no choice but to do this. Like he said, he said, what was it exactly? I can't remember what his exact words were, but he was like, I had to do it. It was something in him that was just calling him to do that. And so, one of, at the part of the trial, like where the victims get to stand up and say what they need to say to him. One of the victims, I think is one of the victims' brothers, was saying that, the creator's, gonna get him, like whoever his creator is, he's gonna have to pay for what he did. And, they were saying that he wouldn't make eye contact with the victims, the families of the victims. But, he told him, he said, before you meet your fate, I want you to look to your right, look to your left, the church thing. And he was like, he said, whoever your creator is, he's coming for you. And I was just thinking to myself, like, this is something that we really don't get. Like a lot of, I'll say, African Americans, I guess. If his creator put it in him to believe that he's supposed to do this, his creator's not punishing him. It's like, I think we all kind of like sometimes I guess like especially African American Christians or whatever, everybody thinks they're serving the same entity. So what's just and right for one group is supposed to be just and right for another group. But I was just thinking, like, this boy, as convinced as a person is to whatever their purpose is, if they're completely sold out on it and they act on it, and whatever it is they do in life, is a result of it. When it's good, nobody says anything. But if this man was told to go and shoot 9 black people or whatever, now we're looking at it like, oh, this is like an evil thing. But it's like, even just in talking about this whole thing with Satan and Lucifer and all this other kind of stuff, is like we don't know in the grand scheme of things what the spiritual meaning was behind all of this stuff. And I'm not justifying it or saying it was right for him to do it at all or anything, because, just looking at it with my flesh eyes and being here now, like it was a horrible, horrible, horrible thing to do. But, you have different people who come to the planet and that is their sole purpose. Like they're here to destroy. And we have both of those energies, that duality at play on this small plane, like you said. So, when the guy said that, like, your creator's coming for you, or you're going to get what you deserve and everything, it's like, I don't think that maybe his creator or whoever it is that he worships, because like you said, he's a self-proclaimed white supremacist. Like, I'm thinking he's giving him a high five right now. He has no remorse behind what he did, because he's completely convinced that was his purpose.
Mm-hmm. And once again, I think it's a ritual. 33 counts, 17 which hold the death penalty. So I'm not the best on numerology, but I know those two numbers mean a lot. 33 and 17. So. So think about that.
You think he's going to get the death penalty?
I wouldn't see why not, honestly. But at the same time, I'm not going to give a prediction on that one. No predictions on this one. But let's just look at it like this, and I'm going to compare it to African American actors doing films, right? When they rise to power, like the what was it, Nat Turner movie. He rose to power and killed at the end, right?
Right.
The white boy kills 9 people, and if he dies at the end, that means that there could be some symbology that white supremacy is being killed at the end of that. So how can
or if he doesn't get it? What does that mean? White supremacy reigns? Because you got a lot of people saying that Trump is bringing in a lot of so-called white supremacists. He's bringing in a lot of people into his cabinet that have done some questionable things. I was recently watching something, and I think the guy's last name is Sessions or something like that he's about to appoint. And, he's getting a lot of flack for this guy because he has been known. He's a judge, and he's been known to say some questionable things in the past about Black people, and just about his sentencing of Black people too. So that's why I say. And then when I read something about some of the defense attorneys, making comments on the case, and that's what they were saying. They were like, first of all, this will be the very first federal hate crime defendant that's going to be sentenced to death. If it happens. But they were saying, these death penalty type cases are notorious for just spending years and years and years in court appeals and going through that whole process, that even if he is sentenced to death, like, he may even die before he gets to that death, before they do kill him. So he could be, just appealing this over and over and over again, and just end up being like life in prison. And then you have those conspiracy theorists who are like saying that this is not even that boy, like they're gonna sneak him out and replace him with somebody else or something. I don't know, but I don't know. It just, it's a lot to this. So, I think depending on, I guess, your group, like you were just saying, you kind of look at it as maybe like a death to white supremacy, but I don't know. Like, it could be a ritual.
That's just one aspect of it. That's just one aspect of it. Maybe it could be if he did get murdered, or he was found with the death penalty and they killed him, that could be a symbology to it. Or on the opposite way, that he doesn't die, and then it just because he even gets free for psychological reasons. So think about that. It's just I don't know, man. I think a lot of that stuff on mainstream in the mainstream media is meant to keep us in a place of control and try not to personally let it affect me like that.
Yeah.
So, Obama. It was cool. It was cool. Yeah, let me talk about the positives, man. Look, one of the things that I enjoyed about Obama, Michelle, Aaliyah, Sasha, and Malia, Malia, is that they showed something of family. They showed a black family. They showed a loving father, a loving mother, productive mother too, and a productive father, even though he was having to legitimize a system that really is not working for us. So, you know, that one image of the family was very strong for me. And even as I guess for the African American, I really won't say this for myself or my children, but to be able to raise themselves to a higher place in America, that was a good light.
Yeah, I think a lot of black people felt that way. I think they completely ignored everything else, and it was just like they were just so happy to see a black president, especially people that were maybe in their 20s or whatever during the civil rights era. Like, this is something that they thought was completely impossible. You know, like they never thought there would be a black president ever. You know what I mean? So I think, like, especially for them, like, it really meant something. Like, you'll see a picture of Barack up in black people's homes, in some people's home, right next to Jesus or white Jesus. You know, they got white Jesus. They got a picture of Barack or the family up there. You know what I mean? So I think it was like a huge symbolic thing for them. You know, people who are still kind of, I don't know. To me, like I said, you know, dealing with the culture I'm dealing with, it does, you know, of course, it doesn't matter. But, you know, for a lot of people, that was the thing. Like, they could overlook everything else. They could overlook everything the man did. They just saw that symbolism, and that was it.
Obama.
Hussein. Yeah. So I had a couple more points before we get into the topic for the day, but there's something else, and this is all kind of related actually to culture, because all these things just made me think about culture. But another hot topic that's been out recently is you know, the singer Kim Burrell caught a lot of flack about what she was saying about bisexuals or homosexuals. I think she was in church preaching or something or whatever. And she was, you know, just speaking about how that act is, you know, that particular sex style is, you know, wrong and evil, and, you know, Jesus is against, you know, the Christianity is against that. But she went on and on and on, and it just kind of went viral. And because of that, she's come under a lot of flack. You know, she was supposed to go on the Ellen show or something like that, and Pharrell was a guest, and Ellen ended up canceling her. And I was just thinking, did she know that Ellen is gay? She agreed to go on that show, but, you know, she's promoting her album, so I guess none of that matters. But like, a lot of people have come out, especially African Americans, have come out to speak out against her. Like Janelle Monáe, Pharrell, of course, Octavia Spencer, a whole lot of so-called famous African American people and stuff who are like shunning her for that. And I remember she even came back, and Kim Burrell even came back and tried to do like a follow up to what she said to kind of, I guess, to try to cool things down a little bit. She still didn't apologize for what she said, but she was just like Dylan Roof. You know, she said that this is the message that she, you know, this is her interpretation of what Christianity is. She justified it by saying, you know, like it's in the Bible. And she's not apologizing for that. She's not going to change her message one bit. That's what she has been put on the earth to do, is to be a Christian or a soldier for Christ or whatever, you know, whatever Christians say. And she's not apologizing for it. But you got a lot of people that came out, you know, and spoke against her. And, you know, you were talking about conspiracy theories and things. You know, you have this conspiracy theory of the what is it they call the gay mafia in Hollywood or whatever, where as soon as somebody speaks out against that community, like that's the end of your career. That is the end. Yeah. And I don't know, it kind of made me think about that, even, you know, with respect to Dylan Roof. You know, because he said the same thing. That's what he was put on this planet to do. He said, I'm sorry. He's not apologizing for it. There's no remorse. He has no remorse for what he did. Same thing as Kim Burrell. And you had a lot of people from, was it LGBT, I think is what it is, LGBT churches and things like that to come out and say something. And one of the points that one of the pastors made was that it's interesting that she would just, you know, come down so hard or stand up so hard for that particular point in the Bible. But she, and I think Shirley Caesar also came out to defend her. And he said he finds it interesting that they would just pick that one part of the Bible or the Christian culture and run with it, but they completely ignore what the Bible says about women leading in churches. And he said, you know, that, you know, according to the Bible, women are not supposed to be, he said that in specifically, it tells women to be silent and submissive in the matters of the church. And I was like, kind of got a point. And it also, you know, he also brought up another point where it has in the Bible where it says, slaves, obey your masters, you know, even if they are, you know, the kind ones and the cruel ones, to obey your masters. But a lot of people kind of ignore certain points of the Bible or certain parts of that particular culture and just kind of pick one and run with it, you know. So I was just thinking, kind of got a point. You know, I don't know. That's interesting. But again, you know, we're talking about culture and purpose. You know, Dylan Roof is a part of a particular culture. She's a part of a particular culture, and they're both completely sold out on their purpose.
And that just to add something to that is that kind of shows the strength in community. Okay, because let's just say the LGBT community, they have a community which has a certain amount of pull and power inside of the social structure. Now, Dylan Roof, we'll see. But at the same time, you know, we can't deny that the white, I don't want to like using the word supremacy, but white oppression.
Power.
White power has affected brown people across America. So, and not even just across America, across the planet. So, and it's even happening more often now in the name of democracy, I guess, or capitalism. So we got to look at it in that term. So it's important that we build our communities and build our defensive situations and offensive situations. so we can have our supreme knowledge inside of it. So just to point that out for us is that our community needs to be empowered by our members.
Yeah, well, that's true. I don't know. Like I said, you know, it all kind of comes back to culture. You know what I mean, and what culture you subscribe to. But I don't know. Like I said, it's just interesting. You know, when it's like when you everybody has their own culture and their own ideas or convictions about what they came to the planet to do. You know, what their purpose is, and it's like, I don't know. It's like it is, you know, like people say, it is what it is. It's like, even, you know, you brought up the whole Nat Turner thing, like diehard Christian, you preaching from the Bible, you know what I mean? And they're under the same particular book or culture. He saw it fit to kill a whole bunch of people. Dylan Roof saw it fit to kill a whole bunch of people. Kim Burrell feels that it's cool to condemn a whole bunch of people. It's like, I don't know. I think people need to, really look into the culture in which they, you know, subscribe to when situations like this come up. And just like that pastor pointed out, it's a lot of stuff in the Bible that may not make you feel too good. You know, the whole thing about slaves, the whole thing about women, you know, not becoming pastors and preachers and all this other kind of stuff and being silent and submissive in the church. Like you said, you know, they completely overlooked that and just kind of pick one thing and run with it. So, you know, you got to kind of look at the culture as a whole. And I don't know, I don't think a lot of people see that. Just like, you know, the guy that was saying to Dylan Roof, like, his creator is going to get him, you know, for what he did. Well, in his culture, his creator, like I said, is probably going to give him a pat on the back or take him to Burger King again. You know?
Whopper Jr.
Yeah. True to Burger King, you know? So I don't know. Let me give the number out again. The number is 515-605-9862. If you have any questions or comments, and we're just kind of talking about some things that are going on right now before we get into the topic. If you're on the line and you have a comment, just press the number 1. One other thing I wanted to bring up is that I read this article recently, and again, this has to do with culture and everything. But there was a scientific, I guess, discovery or research and experiment done where these scientists have come up with, they have a 3D printed blood vessel. They have created these 3D printed blood vessels that they actually, did on a 3D printer, these 3D printers or whatever. And they actually transplanted them into 30 monkeys. And they say within, they, I guess, infused those 3D blood cells with stem cells. And within 5 days, everything, 5 days or something, they said that the stem cells were starting to grow into the type of cells that are needed to make a functioning blood vessel. And, all these other, cells and things that are needed to make a properly working blood vessel. And then a month later, they said that everything worked. Like it came, they functioned exactly the same, as, before. So they were saying that this type of technology now, this 3D printing and stuff, can actually save people from, like cardiovascular disease and all this other kind of stuff. And so when I heard that, it made me think of another show the Chief did on Ex Machina, where he was talking about just this whole, artificial kind of world where people are just, in a sense, just becoming like robots, or, you have this whole other fake world that we're in, social media, everything is digital, like the movie that Bruce Willis was in. I can't remember the name of it. Where you have, like your robotic double that you just kind of sit at home and you control it. You don't go out into the world. You send your double out. And this double that you have, it doesn't age, it doesn't die, all these kind of things. It's like it just made me think about that. It's like, okay, so now we're gonna start, on top of the fake boobs, the fake breasts, the artificial limbs. A person loses a leg, you get, all these different biomedical devices and things like that to replace it, these mechanical parts. It made me think about that again. It's like, wow, I mean, this whole fictional world is really kind of taking off. I'm just wondering, like how far is this gonna go?
I think that movie was called Surrogate.
Yeah, Surrogate. That's it. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. This 3D printing. I was like, ooh. At one point, I was like, yeah, I want one. I want to try to make. I want to make some stuff. Because people are printing. Like they have printed food. They've even printed. Like I remember reading an article where they printed guns, functioning weapons. Things like this. But it's just kind of like, gosh, it's scary at the same time.
The funny thing is about that is that I see functionality if it's used in a way where it's helping humanity or not, well, building humanity. But then, you start questioning like your humanity when you're using that technology to develop a different type of humanity. Mm-hmm. So like let's say the 3D printers can go print out a whole village, because I've seen that too, where they have a concrete 3D printer and they print the whole village from concrete.
Wow.
And that's cool. That breaks down, makes housing a lot more accessible. A lot of good things inside of it. But if we're using it to build humans, isn't there already a sequence for that? Didn't the creator already do something for a male and a female to get together and produce another or reproduce? There's already a way for it.
We can build housing too. We can do that.
Yeah, but that's different. That's not like the house is gonna turn alive. Well, yeah, okay. Well, the house is not gonna start pumping the heart and blood and being able to reproduce itself later. It still needs. I don't know.
Remember we talked about it the other day about houses having spirits and houses being alive and making a house a home. You know what I mean? We build houses out of natural materials. It's not necessarily, the 3D printing thing. It's like, how far can an organic being really survive in a 3D printed house? Like, what's the effect? What would be the effects of that? It's just like 3D printed food, consuming that.
But it took a soul, a human being with a soul, to create the spirits that are inside that house. So I believe that's more source generated than a 3D printer printing out a human being.
Yeah, but you were saying that was you said it's a good thing though.
For construction purposes, when I start talking about being a carpenter, I can see me using that thing. Because as a human being, as a soul, I'm going to come over and design a funky looking house, and then I'm going to go put it on my concrete 3D printer, then I'm going to go print it out on some land, and then I'm going to do my little additions that I need to do, because I'm putting my soul into it. I'm putting my spirit, the spirit that was placed inside of that energy that was placed inside of that house. So
they put stem cells. They put grafted stem cells onto these 3D printed arteries.
And I'm against that one.
Okay.
I don't think you. It's one thing about let's say even chopping down the tree, cutting it up, and and making a wood cabin with it. Then artificially growing a tree and cutting it down and making a cabin. So I think everything has purpose. So there's a purpose for that tree, for it to have grown, for it to become a cabin. So, and then once again, it's the human experience, the human touch that actually made the cabin. Even if it was being used, the wood was being used through a 3D printer to cut out and place all the things together. You know what I'm saying? So I just think there's got to be a human. There's got to be a human mind inside of that, not something that's surrogate or artificial that's creating something.
But a human mind created this process of the stem cells and the process of creating prosthetics, prosthetic limbs and all that stuff too. Even the stem cells are part of an organic being. Yeah,
the stem cell was created by a human, which was created by higher force and energy. So that's different. But taking that stem cell and using it out of context, that's the question for me. For me, that's the question.
Is using a tree, cutting down a tree for the purpose of building a house, is that out of context? Because you said like that was the tree's purpose or whatever. But it's like, is that a tree's purpose?
No, the real purpose right now for a tree is to produce oxygen, correct? That's the ultimate purpose of a tree. We cultivated a tree and we made it as humanity. Now the tree itself, there could be a lot more satisfying way to use that tree to build a home. We could have built a home without even cutting down the tree. Maybe we could utilize some of its leaves or things that are dying off the tree to utilize and make into a structure based around the tree. So there's different ways to do it, but it's the thing about building a stem cell that was based off the birth of another human being and taking that stem cell and now putting it through a science and creating something completely artificial with it. That wasn't birthed from two seeds, a positively charged sperm and a negatively charged egg.
Stem cell was. That's part of you. They just took the stem cell. That was fused it.
Yeah, but that was the offshoot. That was the offshoot of a certain particular process that was based off of masculine and feminine intent. So now we take the stem cell that has really no intent right now until humanity comes and steps in and says, let's make a clone, or let's make a new heart, or let's do this.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hear these things, and like I said, it's just me thinking out loud, when I think about these things, because initially a lot of times we'll take a hard stance against something and never really ponder or never really think deeply into, like, well, why do I think that, or why do I really believe it? Let me look at it from all sides. Just the conversation in general that we've been having so far, just with, Satan and people's purposes and culture and everything. It's like, I don't know, you got to kind of look at it from all different angles, I don't know, and then again, like I said, it all kind of still brings us back to culture because we operate from a place of whatever our culture, whatever is right or righteous or whatever, according to the culture in which we belong to. So, I don't know. I just thought those topics were pretty interesting to kind of lead us into what I wanted to talk about today, which was just consciousness or being awakened and lonely. Yesterday when we were talking, Brother Tareem called in and he was saying that, in doing these rituals and things, he was like, he just, he don't know if he's getting answers back, and he just kind of felt alone. He was like, I feel, it kind of broke down to that. He's like, I just kind of feel alone. And I think that's a big topic to kind of explore, because you do experience that, when you kind of pull yourself away from the majority and you start to kind of do your own thing. And it's like, we come to the planet, we have a physical family, you know what I mean? And when you, I guess, kind of break away from the family and you say, well, wait a minute, I don't know, this, that behavior or that belief that you have really doesn't make much sense. Why don't we look at it this way? Or, this culture seems to make more sense for us. And we start to change and have our own different values and things like that. Your family kind of looks at you crazy, or kind of shuns you a little bit. And now you find yourself, because of these things that you've adopted, it's like, okay, now what do I do? Now I'm just kind of out here by myself. Like, it's a very, like she said, it's a very lonely walk. I mean, what do you do? Because, we talk about the so-called conscious community all the time, but as Chief has said, like, community is self-sustaining. So there really is no conscious community. It's just like this group of people with different beliefs. And it can be a very lonely walk. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you cope with that, or how do you handle that? Because here you are, you still want to be a part of your family. You know what I mean? It's not like your family looks at you like as if you are looking at them with some sort of disdain or like disapproval. Well, you used to do that. You used to eat pork. You used to do this. What's wrong with it now? You know what I mean? So they look at you like you hate them, and it's like, no, I don't hate you. I want to still be, a part of this family, come around, do family functions and things like this. It's just that I have a different set of things that I believe in, you know what I mean? But they, kind of put you out, and then everything you do comes under scrutiny. Well, Kim can't, she don't eat pork, so, don't ask her that. You just kind of become this like, you become ridiculed for a lot of things, or people like, well, they're just not, you too serious. You just serious all the time. I can't enjoy anything. You just can't have anything fun. You just no fun anymore. And so, yeah, it can be a very lonely walk. Let me bring in another caller real quick. This is 904. 904.
Hey, good evening or good afternoon, family. How y'all doing?
Oh, well, how are you, Tareem?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing well. I was, just tuning in once again. I'm just not to change the subject real quick, but this show starts at 1:00 on Tuesday or Wednesday.
We're every day now, 1:00
okay.
Eastern every day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But I was listening to you, Sister Kim, and you're exactly right, man. The words that you say, and I'm feeling that. I went to my family house, the holidays, just to, chill with them and everything. And, my cousin was like,
you cut out on us, Tareem. Let me see. He'll probably come back. He cut out on. I know he's probably driving right now. Just come back whenever you can, if you can hear me. I'm going to go to another caller real quick. This is 347. 347.
Hey, Sister Kim, how you doing?
Hey, Sister Michelle, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Peace for the online. You know, when you were talking about right now about the family and stuff, all I could hear Chief in my head is saying, "Believe them." No.
Mhm.
And especially because I was just going over the first Chief Speaks that he did for the year, the number magic, and I wrote something down that I thought was really critical. He said, "Opportunities are not infinite in one lifetime, but our lifetimes are infinite." So divine mercy that allows you to come into understanding, into certain teachings, doctrines, mores, or principles, that's divine mercy when you are able to receive them.
Okay.
So, like, you know, if we're in this information and we have the mind capacity to receive them, that's divine mercy on you. If your family and the people around you don't have that mind state, there's nothing you can do. This is your golden ticket. They don't see the golden ticket, so you can't really pass up that opportunity trying to save everybody from the muck and mire, you know. So it's like, if we're here, we're aware of the knowledge, and we're doing this, this is a gift from the cosmos to us. And if we get, you know, hung up on, like, everybody who's left behind, like, then we're just going to shoot ourselves in the foot, and then we have to come back in another lifetime. So that means being reborn again and doing everything all over to get back to the same spot we are now. But this time, hopefully, cross your fingers, you choose a different route. So that, to me, just in itself is exhausting. Like, you didn't think about it coming back one more time. Like, no, you know. We'll strive to do something different. But so it's like, honestly, you know, sometimes even my family never felt like family. So I'm not gonna stand around, you know, people that are not aware that they're disrespectful towards you. Like, you have to have a little bit of self-worth and really put down a list of all the things these people have been doing to you, the pros and cons, right? So you say, okay, so this is what's good about them. This is what's bad about them. If the list is the bad side is so long, it's a no-brainer, you know. Oh, you know, they throw in the guilt, right? I mean, you're a bad person. How can you do this to your mom? Da 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 da. But it's like, okay, let's talk about it. So when you really sit down and break it down for people, even other people are like, yeah, you know, you're right. I'm sorry, my baby's in the background. So, you know, you really have to have a little bit more, like, critical thinking, maybe reasoning, because if you go by feelings, then you're going to be stuck forever. You know, you're going to have some more love and compassion for yourself and for your mission than for everybody else's.
That's true. But how do you deal with the loneliness of it all? Because you have a lot of, like I said, a lot of people who are very, you know, we're just kind of spread out all over the place. And especially for women, like, loneliness for a woman, like, it can drive you insane. It can drive you crazy. And so you have a lot of people kind of with one foot in and one foot out, just because it's like, you know, the alternative is just to be by yourself. You know, you have the support of your family, you know, through what you're going through. But it's just like, you know, what if you didn't have that? How do you combat just the loneliness, just to, you know, try to stay sane?
Yeah, I mean, that's hard. I mean, even though, like, you know, I do have my family, it's not the same for me to talk to Richie. Like, sometimes I know Richie doesn't want to hear me talk. You know, so it is pretty alone, but, you know, staying centered in yourself, you know, really being, and that's not easy either. Like, I'm always shaken. I'm always like, even as recent as these past end of the year celebrations, I'm still like teetering. We're like, oh, should I? But no, it's like really the mission statement really helps.
Yeah.
You know, centered in yourself, having conviction, having character, having words. Like I feel like all these things, like that was what helps me. Because when I say, well, this is what's wrong about it, like, so I'm just gonna pretend like I don't know nothing. You know what I mean? And that just is offensive to myself. So I'm like, no, I gotta put myself in a better spot. So that does mean being alone. I have pretty much no friends. The closest friends that you would call quote unquote friends, you know, she's supportive. But you know, I have sisterhood with the Anu women. That helped a lot.
Yeah.
That was like a breath of fresh air, you know. And it still is every single week. And it's been going on for like what, months? I feel like it's brand new. I feel like it's still fresh.
Yeah, it does help.
But it's almost like, you know, if you're firm on your ground, you'll vibrate and you'll attract people at that same vibration. I think that's what happened to us. You know, coming into our nation. You know, so it's like, you know, how badly do you want it? So sometimes you're going to have to be alone. Okay, but we have the internet. We have social media. So it's not really alone, but we don't have the communities that we're striving for. That's for sure. I mean, it's almost like, you know, we have to dig up and then build it. And then, you know, and then our children will be the ones that will reap the benefits of never having to go through all these issues by themselves without any spiritual guidance, without any, like, moral principles or anything like that. So it's like, that's what really it is all about. So, I don't know, I guess drive also helps because I was never really driven in my life either until I had Alice. You know, so I guess this also goes back to the family point. You know, build a family, you know, have some children. And then, like, now is that I'm driven because of her. Through her it started. So it's like, you know, it helps being in that cipher.
Yeah. Create,
a lot,
go out,
you know?
like she says, if you don't have a family, go out and get one, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Let me see if I can bring Brother Tareem back in real quick. Tareem, are you there? I think I heard him come back in for a second. Okay, if you have your mic muted, Tareem, just come back whenever you want. But I don't know. It's like, you know, just like Brother Tareem was saying, you know, family looks at us as if we don't want to be a part of them anymore, you know, but you do, but it's just like, you know, at the risk of what, you know, and, you know, even when, you know, before I found I knew or whatever, you know, you have a lot of single women who are just kind of floating around, going to this function, going to that function, you know, trying to search for a place where they can find support or find family. I think it may be a little bit easier for men to, you know, because for the most, you know, they're the leaders. They understand that leadership sometimes means that you have to, you know, you have a lonely walk. Not to say that they don't get lonely, you know what I mean? But it's like, how far down do you have to step to be a part of a family, or to I guess again combat that loneliness? You know, do you just, you know, you talked about mercy, Sister Michelle. It's like, you know, within each culture you have this concept of being merciful or graceful or whatever, and I think that's, you know, part of the reason is because you have to realize that there are other people in the world that have a different mission, have a different culture. And we still have to exist in this world. You know what I mean? I don't know.
But I think you might have to define what family is. Like, who now is going to be allowed to be called your family?
Right.
So it's like, if you were just coincidentally born through my, you know, physical lineage, I don't really necessarily consider you family at this point in my life. And that's only because family is culture. If we don't share the same culture, you're almost like a stranger now. So I think that's the main thing. It's like, who are you considering family? How are you viewing these family? At this point, a lot of my maternal side of the family, I block them from everything because I consider them enemies almost. Because all they want to be in my life is to talk bad about me. That's negative vibrations on my name. I don't need any of that. That's an enemy. You're not a well-wisher. So I block everybody. Literally, like in social media, physically, metaphysically, everything. Block. Because that's what you got to do. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'll mute myself.
Okay. I was just about to ask you, so what kind of advice would you give somebody like Brother Tareem, who was expressing like, no, it's not that I don't, love you all. You're my family. We're tied together by blood, by this bloodline or this ashe, that we all kind of share. It's just that, you have a different set of values, or you have a different set of beliefs, or I don't even want to use the word beliefs, but you have a different culture that you operate in. But it's something that is very, very real. And even though we do have like social media, and we have, things, within our new, like the women's call, the men's call, or whatever, does it actually replace actually having somebody physically there? Can you really substitute those mediums with actually having somebody physically there? Because,
I think those is because, like, I'm sorry to interrupt like that, because I'm just trying to save some quiet space, not that the house is quiet.
You're fine.
I think so because I don't think, time and space are a dimension. I really do feel like I've never felt better in my life than with connecting with you guys on Mondays. I've never had that, never.
Yeah.
So even when we were in the physical, like, I can't even hug my birth mother. It's physically uncomfortable, and we've always been close physically. But it's never been like that. There's never been that connection that I have with you, which has that says a lot. And what I would tell Serene, I apologize.
It's okay. You're fine. Okay, I guess she'll come back. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was about to tantrum. I'll be back in a few.
Okay. All right. Brother Tareem, I have unmuted your mic if you'd like to come back in. Remind everybody the number is 515-605-9862. Just press the number 1. And now we're just kind of talking about culture and, just this loneliness that you deal with. And does like social media and phone calls and things like that, does it provide the same level of companionship or closeness that actually having the physical relationship or the physical interaction that you get from, just being around other people or having somebody there? Like, is it the same? It kind of, it makes me think again about the movie Surrogates. It's like, physical contact. There was a point in the movie where Bruce Willis, the real flesh being Bruce Willis, went into his wife's room, knocked on the door, and was trying to get her to like unplug and saying, look at me, and she was old and, she had aged and so had he, you know what I mean? But it was just like, he was just like, he's sick of this. Like, put this, this robot or whatever, put it down. Let's make actual physical contact. And I don't know, it just makes me think, because don't get me wrong, like the Monday calls and, all the support, that we have with each other on the phone and things, it's good. And it is a breath of fresh air, and it does help and, all of that. But I don't think that it can really replace actually having a physical person there with you. Like if you need a hug or if you need whatever, just to be able to see a person's face or to touch a person, is just something completely different. And so, you've heard Chief say a lot of times, like, if you don't have a family, go out and get one, because for the most part, a lot of people are very lonely. You see it all the time on Facebook when people just throw out random statements or post very personal issues or very personal things on the internet. I've seen people post like, oh, I miss my friend, or can somebody call me, please? I'm lonely, and things like that. So it's like, people are like reaching out for some kind of contact. Everything is so global now, and we're so spaced out that we do have these mediums of, email, internet, FaceTime, all this kind of stuff. But it's like, to actually have that person there is something that is, I think that's something that's really kind of irreplaceable. I don't know. What do you all think? Again, Tareem, I know we lost you earlier, and I kind of wanted to come back to you from yesterday. So just unmute your mic whenever you're ready. Let me go to another caller here. This is 816. 816.
Peace, Sister Kim.
Peace.
Well, this is Georgina.
Peace, Georgina. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Yeah. How are you?
I'm well.
Good. Well, I just wanted to chime in today because I'm feeling the topic, for one. And for two, I got in yesterday on the conversation and didn't chime in, and thought about it just as you guys were, ending the show. And I said I should have chimed in and thanked Chief for his Sunday show, because I sent out an email through. I'm on the app now. Thank you for inviting me to that. I don't know if it was Sister Michelle or you, both of you. We talked, and I was kind of crying, and it was the last Sunday show of the year, and I was emotional, and somewhat in regards to what the topic is today. So I guess I felt more compelled now and comfortable to chime in. Like I said, I was saying I sent the email to the app, and some of the things that Chief was saying on Sunday, I really felt like he was almost answering the email for me, but speaking to everyone.
What were some of the things that resonated with you?
Well, the fact that nobody's that special, that brought out a big thing to me, where it's like nobody's that special to think that, people are how did he put it? Mostly, you kind of thinking more of yourself because people aren't necessarily like down with you, or they're not hating on you, they're not jealous or whatever, like almost saying that, not saying that resonated with me as far as I think that way. Mostly I was feeling like that's what my email was regarding. Is it normal to feel like you have to be isolated or isolate yourself, or not talk with people? And so like I said, that stood out to me, where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not all that, I'm not all that special that someone's really that concerned about what I'm doing all the time, and mostly what I want to say about today is that's what was coming to my mind, was that what hasn't, I don't know if it was brought up or not, because I was kind of in and out the conversation, But that what I thought of was, why not just take the concept of not taking everything personally, and that kind of goes one and the same with, you're not that special, almost saying with that, like, not taking everything personally is like, it's not about you, it's about them, And so I just wanted to add that 2 cents in, is like, just how about just not taking everything personal, because it isn't about you. It is about them. Is what they're going through, or what they're dealing with. Them, whoever it is you're taking something personal from.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Meaning, like, if I'm taking it personally that my sister isn't dealing with me because she's a Christian and that's just what she wants to do, it's not about me that she's not talking to me. It's about her.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's like, I'm not all that. It ain't that she's really thinking about me and trying to just isolate me or not speak with me or deal with me. It's what she's doing. Just the same as how we're discussing how the conscious community is dealing with their thing, and whether you're blocking people or whether you're, as Sister Michelle was saying, like, or whether you're just pausing from communicating with people that you don't want to communicate with anymore because it doesn't coincide with how you want to live your life.
Mhm.
And
so have you experienced this before? Like, are you the only one, like, in your family that is, I guess, so-called conscious or into a particular culture?
Yes.
Mhm. Do you are you single, or are you alone, and how do you deal with it?
And I am single, and that's why I also wanted to chime in, because you were mentioning that there are a lot of people who are out here who are single and who want to go out, and they go to different things to try to see, where they can fit in. And that was where I was at when I was calling the last Sunday of the year of the so I was like, emotional, and was like, should I just be by myself because nobody understands me, and people, joke about me and my fruits and berries, and then, but I know that, like I said, it's just jokes, and I can't take it personally. I should not take it personally, and know that, it's just about them, because they don't know what all it means to me. And it's not for them to know what all it means to me. And I don't have to take it literally or seriously or personally, because they are my friends and they are just trying to understand, and maybe that's a way to break the ice of, why do you just eat fruits and berries and salads and no meat and this and that, or whatever, So it's just a matter of, I guess, kind of positioning yourself, like, where do you want to be put at? Do you want to be hated by your friends or family because you're different? Or, are you, what is it? And we don't have to take things personally. I read a book back in the day called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and one of the agreements was not to take anything personally, because it isn't about you and it's about them, and that was helpful to me. And I refer back to a lot of that, the teachings in that book, because of even like with Chief, like, I figured out on my own, like, why do you say strong? Why is it not weak? Because weak is saying the words, like the spelling of the spells that are in words. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of figured that out myself by knowing, going back to the teachings of that book, like, there's spells that people put on people. Yeah. And that's why it's called spelling. And I got that from Chief saying that, like, okay, you guys aren't saying next week, you're saying next strong. Or you say good dawning instead of good morning. I'm starting to get better at understanding. Like he said yesterday, you kind of got to be like a investigator. You got to really peep, like, why is he going outside to do his rituals, or what, on the ground, and, stuff like, you got to kind of investigate, and that's just intriguing. Let's see. What else? Girl, I be all over the place because it's kind of nervous. I remember being the first time I was on with Chief. I was kind of nervous, and I was just like, I still get that way. Talking to you guys. And I did try to get in on the call Monday when you guys were saying to me, to get in on the Monday call with the women. And then, I went through the app, and then I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it. I got to do the classes for, so I'm working my way up. And so I just appreciate that you guys have this.
Actually, to be a part of the women's call, you don't have to get through phase 1. You can just sign up through A New Life Global. Just sign up to be a part of the ministry, and then you'll let somebody know, and you'll get an email. But I think we're going to move to like a conference call, because we've been having some little technical issues with Google Hangouts, and because we're getting more people wanting to be on that call. So make sure you sign up, and we'll get you the necessary information. I don't know if you've already done that or not.
No, I have not. No.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah, you don't have to be.
I'm trying to get comfortable with the whole savvy thing of the computer internet thing too. So navigating you guys is like, okay, how am I going to do this? But I got through to it. And that day, I tried to do it like an hour before the call, and it wasn't working. So then I was like, okay, don't go. And then several days later, I figured out, this is how this works. This is how I got.
Okay. So we'll see you on Monday then.
Yes. So. But that's all. I just wanted to make mention of that. I was thinking of that, the whole thing of like not taking things personally, and Christian, because I thought about it. Like even my sister had mentioned to me when she was when she started becoming real deep in the Christianity, she was saying like, I have to leave you alone. I have to not talk to you. I have to not. Yeah, and so it kind of reminded me of this situation where the conscious community may feel like they have to leave their families alone, but now I'm realizing like even the Christians feel that way. Or I'm sharing with you that was what happened with me and my sister, which made me decide to be a Christian, or to go and not be a Christian, but to go and see about it. Just so I could be close to my sister. Like, oh no, I can't let go of my sister can't just leave me hanging. I gotta go and see what she's talking about. Like, this is my sister, my only sister. So it made me compelled to go and see about it. And I enjoy being in the church, and I love the spirits of, but one thing I remember hearing Chief say was like, you can get just as much as going to a football game. Or going to that excitement, that joy, that thing. I forget what it's called, but yeah. So I realized then that because I do enjoy being in the church and seeing everybody happy and joyful and this and that and whatever. And so I started to question, like, well, what am I doing? It feels good to sit at my altar when I had an altar, and I would sit at my altar and meditate and stuff. And that felt good to me too, so, because I was bouncing back and forth. Which way am I supposed to go? Like I said, I was all over, I'm being all over the place now, but when I called in and I was like, I don't know what to do. Where am I supposed to go? Where am I accepted at? Where, and because I'm Hispanic, and then the brother said to me what was so important, which I should have remembered from listening to, music from back in the day, from the hip hop first came in, the X-Clan was like, black is not a color, it's the mindset, where your mind is at and stuff. So, that helped me as well. So, yeah.
How's the relationship with you and your sister now?
Well, I reach out to her more than she reaches out to me.
You got cut off, 816. I don't know what happened. I don't know if your phone dropped or if you hit mute or something. I think her call dropped. Maybe she'll chime back in. But yeah, something she said was very important is about not taking things too personally. But is there a point where the lines are crossed? And she was saying, it's not all about you all the time, which is very true. But a lot of people don't have that same outlook on things. Are you there, 816?
I am.
Somebody. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
Oh, I was saying that yes, my sister and I reached out to her more often than she reaches out to me. And then I was saying she has 3 children, and I'm like, I'm kind of making excuses for her when I say that, and that's what I feel like I'm saying, making excuses. However, I think that she just, I reach out to her and I express my feelings to her about how I feel about her and that I, miss her and I want her, and. She doesn't really respond with a lot of, like she just, I think when I did say something to her like that, I text her because she didn't answer. She's really busy, a lot running her own business, and she's got a couple, 3 kids and stuff. But one thing we used to get into, I got into it with her real bad because I said, you do all this stuff and for the church and the community and stuff, but you don't even ask your own sister, is she hungry? Does she need something to eat?
Yeah.
And one day she sent me a big box of like a whole bunch of hamburger helper and some deodorant and soap and toothbrushes and, like a big care package for me. And that wasn't really necessarily because I was thinking, I'm not even going to use this stuff. But I started giving it to people who I knew because she doesn't even know me that well, but the gesture was there and it was a way of saying, I apologize or I'm sorry or please don't tell my church or I don't know what it was. But
yeah.
but it happened, and so I'm grateful, for the love. However it can be defined, but I know that I get it. She doesn't really like me, and it's okay. I don't really dwell on it. I don't really because I was really mean about it. I snapped out on her and told her she was wrong for how she was being, and you call yourself a Christian, and you're not even, how would your Christian friends feel about this and that, and you're not even trying to, but I get it because I was, being a savage back then when I said what I said, and I wasn't as concerned about being, more polite and mindful of her feelings, so.
Well, do you think it's really that, or do you think she really has completely cut you out because we don't share the same beliefs?
I feel like yes, she has distanced herself. Not necessarily completely, because she'll tell me, when I text her my long little spiels about how much I miss her, she'll be like, okay, are you all right? Thanks, I love you. She's very keeping it, like this, sometimes have I felt like, does she say, yeah, I love you, just because, she might feel like she's supposed to say that. I don't know. Because the actual, just saying it, like Chief was saying, was like, not just the fake polite.
The words.
So, yeah.
Can I chime in on something?
Sure.
I was in a similar position where what you're going through with that. One thing you said earlier about not taking it personally, don't take it personally. What you need to do, what I did, let me not say what you need to do, but what I did was get about my life purpose. Get about the things that I needed to do with myself to get myself to a certain situation. And I'm working on that now. And what that with my family is very distant when it comes down to my own spirituality where I go. But I find myself in a place where I'm able to achieve my purpose and be in a freedom area. And gaining that relationship with your sister, or with me, with gaining relationships with certain friends and certain family members, it's been where they need to, they're at a place where if I need to talk to them and have a conversation with them, I can. But I find myself being in a place where I have to focus on my own life path, my own purpose. It helps in the situation if you kind of realize that, okay, I need to get busy on the things I need to do in my life first, get myself completely together, and then maybe my relationship from that point might grow stronger with my sister, or with my brother, or with my mother, or so forth, so on. So I just want to chime in on that, and maybe that gives you another perspective of what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. That's basically what I have been, seeing that, okay, I have to have my own thing because I went to try out what it was that she was talking about so that I can be relate to her and, let her know, like, I'm not a bad person. I'm not evil. I'm sorry. I just, it was my way of wanting to be close to her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and connect. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And then I realized, like you were saying, that it's, more beneficial to me, for me to see where I'm going, and stand on my own, what feels comfortable to me and find myself. And so that's what I've been doing with listening to you all. And I just want to say I really enjoy it, and it's comfortable for me. It speaks to me. Mm-hmm. So I like it.
Does that really fill that void of being alone?
Just like you were saying, right. Like just like you were saying, because I know I had said that on that call that you guys were on, and thank you guys so much because it made me feel not alone, However, I did hear you saying about, like when you were saying about what Sister Michelle was talking about, not being able to hug her mother, like, does it really, and that's kind of what you're asking me too, I think, is, physically, does it take the place of someone being there to hug you? And I'm not certain if I have the answer for that because vibrations, you can sense someone's concern, because it felt good for me to hear that you were willing to listen to me, and in your words and the comments that were made. I think sometimes that's all you really sometimes maybe need, because even like with, this spiritual entitlement, or, what do you call it, the word, the God, you don't have a direct connection. Like you can't really hug this thing, God, or what it, what you have is the vibration of like the sun beating down on me right now. I feel the rays. I'm starting to beat up in little sweaties, just standing here in front of the sun, and so I'm getting warmth and I'm getting love and I'm getting what I need to get through the vibrations, if that makes any sense.
It does. That's deep. Because a lot of people don't really see that as love. You're making a connection, an actual connection with the sun, and you can feel the, like you said, the warmth or the love and the, through that contact or through that, through that radiation. It's doing something for you, and, sometimes I think we do neglect that a lot of times, just, Chief was saying one time on one show about being grounded, just taking a walk in nature and just kind of letting nature work on you a little bit, could help a lot. But it's like sometimes I guess we may equate, we only see, you want a person, you want a physical person that you can interact with and talk to, even though you can talk to trees and you can talk to nature and everything. But it's like just having that person there sitting in front of you or that you can talk to it seems to be, like a different type of exchange. But that is an excellent point that you brought up.
And I think too,
Excellent
maybe
point.
it's just like the want. Thank you. I think it's the want too. Like, cause saying like, this is my only sister. I want to be able to, and I want to be able to, cause it's like, you see other families close together and close knit, and like, you see that love and you see that joy and warmth and happiness amongst them all. So you kind of like, well, I want to have that too, and stuff.
Right.
But I guess, everyone's not the same for one, and for two, we are really all here on our own, and we have the ability to be able to not be alone and to be alone. So it's really a matter of our choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
To create a family, like Sister Michelle was saying, we have to sometimes maybe create a family if you've, decided that you've wanted to block them out. That's the choice.
Yeah. That's the choice.
That we make. That we can either decide, nope, I ain't gonna be bothered because I don't need this negativity, or they're saying something on my name, or or whatever. But you also have the ability and the choice to go ahead and try to fix that too, so that it doesn't be on your name, and it doesn't doesn't have a negative energy attached to whatever they're saying. We have to do that. Maybe. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'm not afraid of being wrong. I'll be wrong again. But this is what my spirit feels like saying.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we have to go out and get them. Chief has said it a lot of times. Go out, pick somebody, get a mate. There are a lot of children running around that don't necessarily have that connection or have anybody either. And he'll say, go snatch them up. We do have that freedom of building our own families, but it's just something about those blood relatives, that kind of, I don't know if it's guilt or, you just want that connection with your own blood. You know what I mean?
Well, it feels like there's something. Oh, 1,000 pardons. I think it feels like it's what's normal, like or not normal, what's in order. Like that seems like the proper order in which you do things, is to be loving to your family members. These are your bloodline. This is your bloodline. This is who, you're supposed to be connected to, and there shouldn't be the discord or anything. There's going to be obviously disagreement. And everything. I think I'm making the right moves to open her heart to me a little bit more, because I don't attack her no more. And I don't try to impose what I'm thinking or what I'm doing. Yeah. If she asks, I'll share. If she doesn't, we don't talk about that.
Yeah. I think that's okay.
I feel like that's important,
Yeah.
And with not
sometimes, we do that sometimes. It's like, when we come into consciousness, it's like we're so overwhelmed and so, wowed by the information. Like there is something in you that wants to share that with your blood relatives. Like, oh my gosh, like look what this makes so much sense. You want to share it with them, but just like they're beating you over the head with what they're doing, you're doing the same thing to them. And so there has to be a place in the middle where both of you just kind of drop it and just say, you know what, I respect that you have your own thing, respect that I have my own thing, and we can still have some kind of relationship with each other.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
there's
brother,
something that...
Go ahead, Amar.
No, go ahead. Brother Turin's back on? Go ahead and get him up.
No, I was trying to see if he was still on, but I think he's probably muted himself. Go ahead.
There's something that Chief said. It was in front of the intros for Enlightenment Transformation, and he speaks on that your internal world should reflect your external world. I might be saying it wrong, but the energies that are inside of you, your community of family that's inside of you is going to reflect the community of family that you're going to have externally, outside of you. So sometimes getting in tune with that internal community first and then understand what places people play in that external environment of you. Yeah. You know, for example, I'm in a place where I'm pretty much the only person really close to me is my mother. Everyone else is scattered out throughout the whole world, from Europe to Suriname and across the States. So I'm not daily in touch with my family. So, but I know when I go to my father, I can expect this kind of conversation. I expect this kind of love. I can expect this kind of respect. And same thing with my mother, the way she's nurturing, I can expect that. And that's because I'm kind of very familiar with my own internal community, and I'm getting to know more of it. So, you know, I don't know if that helps you out also. And like I said, when I was saying about your life purpose, is that usually, like, once you start getting in line with it, everything that you're talking about right now is going to fall in line with it also. And so you need to find that hug that you need at the time that you need it, because you're more in tune with yourself. So.
Yeah, it really does kind of shift, like, your whole environment. And, you know, like Sister Michelle, I think it was saying, like, when you're operating, you know, from that position, or when you're in that vibration, you'll start to find different people. You know, people will just start to pop up out of nowhere. You know, you'll find this show or any of the other shows on enlightenment and transformation, and you'll start to find people that kind of vibrate on the same frequency that you're in, you know, that you're on, even though you still have those other relationships and things, but you'll start to see things to kind of, they'll start to shift a little bit, well, a lot bit, you know. And that's the magic, you know. We talk about relationships, you know, we do rituals for love and for mates and all this other kind of stuff, but it's like, once you start operating from your purpose or whatever, that's a magical thing in itself. That's a ritual in itself, and it kind of opens your world up to all these other people who are doing the same thing. You know?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope that. Go ahead.
Oh no, I just was remembering that when he just mentioned about in the beginning of the shows where he had stuff, I'm on one of those clips, and I think that when I hear it every time, and I hear myself, and I hear Chief saying, after I said what I said, he says, "This is home." And I feel like that's why I think I've been staying and I've been wanting, and, you know, because it's like, and then you guys reassuring me that I can come and be here. It's okay to be here, because that was one of the main things that has been my concern. Like, which way am I supposed to go? I don't know which way I'm supposed to go, you know? And so, and I don't want anyone to feel like, I went to this conference before, and I even asked the question there, like, am I okay to be here? Because I'm the fairest skinned person here, you know? And I do know that the particular person who was doing the lecture had said something in regards to the Indians, and when they were going through the thing at Standing Rock, you know, like, we'll support them once they support us, like, you know, kind of almost dividing, you know. So I asked, you know, am I welcome here? Because I don't know, at certain times and places, you know, like I said, where have I, it's been a journey. So trying to find out, you know, am I supposed to go over here, go over there? But what I'm just saying all that to say is that I just want to thank you guys again, and I do feel this is a good place to be, and I do encourage more people and share and all that for more people to be able to reach the vibration, to get, because I know there's many more people on the same frequency.
Yeah. Well, thank you for calling in. Thank you for
thank you
speaking
for
up
taking my call
and sharing everything that you just did.
So, thank you.
You're welcome. We've actually come to the end of the show, and I will that some of the testimonies and all the sharing and everything helped Brother Tareem out a little bit. We didn't get him back on the call, but I think he's still listening. So I will that helped you out a little bit, Brother Tareem. And just let you all know, this show does air daily now. Same time for now. The times may change, but we'll let you know like when the times change. But right now, it's every day from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern. And we'll be back again tomorrow with some more good stuff to talk about. So make sure you call in, okay? All right, everybody, enjoy your day. Thanks for calling. Peace.